Mr. Freeze has entered the secret sanctuary. Will I think he's cool or give him a frosty reception? Mr. Freeze, aka Victor Freeze, first appeared in Batman Comics number 121 back in 1959. And did you know, a little bit of Mr. Freeze trivia, he was not called Mr. Freeze in that issue. He was called Mr. Zero. It wasn't until 9 years later, in Detective Comics number 373, that he was finally called Mr. Freeze. And of course, that has endured to this day. I first saw this piece in San Diego, I guess it was last year, 2019. I loved it then. My only thought then was, and I think I said this in my booth tour last year, is that the snow on the base looks kind of plasticky. And that was the prototype, of course. And so it looks the same in this, but I'll give you some close-ups of that to show you. That's kind of a small nitpick with an otherwise really nice piece. Let's take a close look. If there's one complaint about this piece, and it's been a subject of discussion both on Facebook and on Statue Forum, it's the price. The exclusive for this piece was $720, and that felt a little steep considering, gosh, has any other premium format been that high? I'm not quite sure. I will say, when I removed him out of the styrofoam, he's heavy. I don't know what they did differently on this piece, but it's a heavy piece. And the box was heavy, taking it up 2 flights of stairs. Anyway, I'm not going to start with the base because everyone starts with the base. Let's start with the portrait, which looks just like it did in the prototype. I'm really happy with it. I love how the colors just drained from his portrait. It's just ice cold. I think that's great. And he's got that slight downturn of his mouth, the perpetually haunted Victor Freeze, wanting to find a way to save his wife, Nora, and his plans to do so often running afoul with Batman. I have no complaints about the portrait. Slightly darker gray on the lips, which works. It just looks great. Let me show you the back. Very nice portrait. Nice little buckle there for his goggles. So the dome over his head is glass. It is not plastic. Looks really cool. I like it a lot. The gun, and this is often the case, it was the same with Scarecrow and that scythe. The scythe looked bigger coming out of the box than it did in the photos. Same thing with Mr. Freeze's gun. It's got a good size to it. There's lots of elements on this statue that look kind of frosted, like Frozen. So rather than just have a basic gray, there's kind of a white frosted look to things. The other thing that people have been talking about is the tubing, whether it should be blue as it is here, or should it have been clear, and some other examples of tubes on other statues done by other statue makers, XM Studios, and of course the Mr. Freeze by Prime One. People were comparing those. It was never a big deal for me. I don't mind this blue tubing. I think it looks just fine. I just imagine that the concoction running through these tubes is blue. So I don't think of the tubes as blue. I think of the chemical going through them as blue. Down here, the tubes have that same frosted look to them. And that continues onto his boot there. This is Batman's cape. And I will give you the same warning that plaid shirt guy gave you in the Sideshow unboxing. When you remove the base from the styrofoam, don't do it by the cape. This is pretty fragile right here. I was very happy to see that it arrived in one piece. So you can lift it by this, by the ice crystals, but not by the cape. So looking at the base, these icicles look really good. I have no complaints about them whatsoever. I'm really glad that they added those. Just having this kind of snow base would have been too simple, but adding these blue crystals really improves it dramatically. We've got this batarang embedded in one of them here, as if Batman threw it and Mr. Freeze somehow evaded it and it lodged itself in that crystal. Don't worry, I'll get to Nora in just a second. Be patient. His boots are awesome. Some really nice detail. Looks great. You get more frost there on the tubing. And on his backpack here. Paint looks perfect. I don't know how I can say it any more clear. The paint application is fantastic. Areas like right here, right where the silver meets the black, often you'll see it like imperfections there, but it looks just fantastic here. Looks really good. Give you another full view. He just looks, and this is often the case with statues, you see them at a show or you see pictures online and you get an idea in your head of how big it is, and then you actually receive it and it always seems bigger. And that's a good thing. It's always a little bit more imposing in person than it was. Even when you see it behind glass at Comic-Con or whatever, for some reason, when you get it in hand, it's always, wow, this thing's pretty big. So he's standing on this kind of steel grate that's been frosted over with what looks like snow to me. But again, it's kind of plasticky, but I'm giving it I'm not going to worry about it. I'm giving it a pass. Let me put it that way. All right, let's talk about Nora. Nora is what they call a proximity exclusive or proximity piece. And she has a button in the back, looks just like this one, but it's in the back. When you take Nora out of the box and you push that button, the light will not come on. Don't freak out. There's nothing wrong with your Nora. You just have to, I'm going to remove this so I can show you another glass dome. That piece that says Nora, that's a magnetized piece, or as Plaid Shirt Guy would say, it's a magnetized fit. So if you remove that, you'll see the batteries. And there's a little piece of plastic between the two batteries. All you got to do is slip that piece of plastic out, toss it aside, throw it away, and your Nora will turn on just fine. She's really cool. Actually, let's flip the light off for a second. See, she looks pretty neat. Not bad at all. I'd say that's a pretty cool exclusive. This is a really nice piece. You know, if you guys are just, if some of you are just getting the collector's edition, you're still getting an awesome piece. But Nora's pretty nice. So the exclusive is waitlisted at the moment. I noticed that the collector's edition just came off the wait list and is now up for pre-order again. But that shipment will not be here until next year. I think it was it May to June or something like that. So there's going to be a bit of a wait on that next batch. But again, that's the collector's edition. So if you want Nora and you don't already have this on order, you should jump on that wait list. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you want to take a look at the collector's edition. But Nora's pretty awesome. And it's bigger than I expected, which is neat. All right, you probably want to see that nifty black light feature. Let's see if that works. I haven't tried it yet. Let's see how this looks. Isn't that cool? It just makes those goggles look awesome. And this is a feature that was not talked about or advertised when the piece went up for pre-order. It was not until the production piece photos appeared on Sideshow's site that we got to see this feature. Total bonus. And it looks really cool. I like it a lot. Let's see if it looks different from below. Maybe a little more menacing. But that's pretty cool. I had to go out and buy a black light flashlight just to check this out. Pretty neat. Here he is with the latest released, anyway, Batman PF. Of course, that Batman PF has been slightly controversial since it came out. Actually, since it was first announced. Some people think he's too bulky. Some people think that he's got a hunchback. Some people don't like the kind of chaps he's wearing. But you know what? As these rogues are being released, I'm appreciating this Batman more. I think he goes with these pieces. He displays with them very well. Really, really cool. If you watch Batman Statue Collector, you see his display increasing, switching out the older pieces, Poison Ivy, for example, Harley Quinn, for the newer pieces that really display well with this Batman PF. I think they look great together. But some of you will be displaying all the rogues together without Batman. Let's take a look. Here he is with the recently released Scarecrow premium format that's been a huge hit. This was also waitlisted, but today the collector's edition went back up for pre-order. So what that means, a lot of you guys know this, but some of you don't, so I thought I'd mention it. That means that these pieces are being sold in batches. So the first batch of both of these pieces sold out, so they went to waitlist, and now they've gone up to pre-order again for both these pieces. But again, they won't be coming out till next year. And I think these look pretty awesome together. I don't own the most recent Poison Ivy. That might be happening in the near future. I know some guys on Rogues Gallery Live, Dan and Chris, picked that up recently. And now that I have these two and Catwoman, I'm seriously considering picking up Poison Ivy. I also have Harley Hell on Wheels on pre-order. So it seems kind of natural to have those three together. But these two guys, they're going to share a shelf. And I think they look fantastic. You know, when I was growing up, a million years ago, Batman's villains, they were cool, but they weren't like this gallery of freaks. I think that maybe the Gotham TV show has kind of created that or added to that, where we really have this group of freaks that are Batman's rogues. And that lends itself to really cool statues. And I think that this line from Sideshow has been pretty superb. And although we don't like paying 600 plus, or in his case, 700 plus, for a premium format, when you compare that to some other pieces from some other makers, it almost feels like a bargain. How cool is that? Now I've added Catwoman to the mix, and I think if I display these three like this, I'm not sure that I will, but if I do, I might put her on a short riser of maybe 2 or 3 inches. She's a little bit hidden back there. I don't want to put her out front. I think I really want the Scarecrow out front. I've got them on kind of a high shelf. I think it's about 6 feet off the ground. So, because he needs to be on a high shelf. You can't even really put him at eye level because he's really looking down. That's not the case with Mr. Freeze. He can go anywhere. He's looking straight ahead. But you'll notice that even Catwoman is looking down a little bit. So to have these two on a high shelf makes a lot of sense. The three of them together kind of looks spectacular. Imagine Poison Ivy in that grouping. And then that Harley Hell on Wheels, which I'm really looking forward to getting. What a great trio. What a bunch of freaks. These rogues. I wanted to show you guys the art box because I think it's one of Sideshow's better ones. It's pretty cool. That was not intended, but you know what I mean. The colors are cool. Blue, of course, for Mr. Freeze. It makes sense. He's got the bright red goggles. It's a nice image of the statue. You got kind of a cityscape behind, and that cityscape continues between these blue stripes. There's more buildings here. But this is the cool part. So if you're washing dishes or something while you're listening to this, you have to watch this part. We have a picture of Nora on the back. And it's not a picture of the Nora, what's it called again? Proximity piece. This is a photograph of a woman portraying Nora in a beautiful dress. It's pretty cool. And of course it just says Nora on the top. I thought that was neat. On the top, it just says Mr. Freeze. And I got number 299. Is that right side up? I don't even know. Anyway, 299 out of only 500 of the exclusive. So that's Mr. Freeze. He does not disappoint. If you have it on order, you are going to be happy. If you don't, I would suggest that you take a look at that link in the description, follow that, and either get on the wait list or pre-order the collector's edition, one or the other. I wanted to say one more thing about the 2 glass domes. Let me grab Nora. Okay. Mr. Freeze's glass dome goes down pretty deep. As you can see, it's fairly large. I think you can move this piece without removing the dome and it won't fall off. Nora does not go down very deep. It just rests like 1/16 of an inch. I would absolutely remove this dome anytime that you move Nora. I think Sideshow is going to see some breakages on these from collectors who forget that it's not firmly attached. It literally just rests in a little ridge, and it is not very deep. So be careful about that. Anyway, that's Mr. Freeze. Again, it's a great statue. I can't wait to display him with the other rogues. I'm still thinking about Poison Ivy. I'm going to be back sometime in the near future. Finally, I'm years late on this one with the Arkham Harley from Prime 1, which has been floating on the Pacific for 3 months now and should be arriving sometime soon because Prime 1's budget, what is it called? Their budget shipping? Whatever it's called. It's supposed to be 1 to 3 months. So it should be here soon, I hope. And then also something from Tweeterhead is coming because, as I said before, there's always something good coming from Tweeterhead. Otherwise, please subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit the like button on this video. Please more than anything else, join the Secret Sanctuary Facebook group. I'm really enjoying that Facebook group, but I need more people. I got about 150 people in there. There's over 10,000 subscribers to this YouTube channel. So come on, guys, join the fun in the Secret Sanctuary Facebook group. I'm going to put a link for that as well down in the description. So have a great week, and I will see you very soon. Take care, guys. Have a good night.